Welcome to RPG Community College. Today I'm really excited to talk about the Kickstarter launch for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. This is a game I'm definitely looking forward to, and I know a lot of people on the channel are as well. And I thought it'd be nice to go over a bunch of the information that's been put out there from, like, the live stream that they did, news articles that have been written about the game, and just talk about what's new and what we can expect from the sequel to Pathfinder Kingmaker. The first and most important thing, though, while I have your attention, is on the Kickstarter page there are these social media goals, and the reward for getting 18 stars is mod support. This would absolutely be incredible for the game, and it is something everybody can enjoy and everyone can contribute to. I'll have links to all of the social media in the description. And like you're on YouTube right now, you could just go over there and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you don't plan on kickstarting the game or necessarily even want to buy it, you would be helping out a lot of people who did. But alright, the actual game, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. It has a targeted release date of June 2021. It is going to be releasing on Steam and GOG for Windows PC, so no Mac or Linux support at this time. And the Kickstarter is going to be running from February 4th to March 11th. So if you plan on backing it, you got about 34 days from the time that I'm recording this video. And when it comes to Pathfinder, one of the questions I think that gets asked the most is, will there be a turn-based mode? And the answer to that is no. But hold on, don't leave yet. Their official response to this question is they would like to do it, but they have changes they want to make to the real-time with pause combat, and they want to make sure that that is properly implemented and taken care of first. And if they had the time and the resources after the real-time with pause combat is taken care of, they would like to implement turn-based if they could do it properly, which is good, because no one wants some half-assed turn-based mode. And I've never really met anyone that was that good at predicting the future, and game developers seem to be even worse at it than most. So it's hard, to see a year and a half in the future and tell where the game's going to be and what time and resources you're going to have. So it just makes sense that they're not going to promise something that they don't know that they can deliver on, especially something like turn-based, because it's important to a lot of people and they understand that. Personally, I think if we don't see it included in the base game, it's highly likely that we're going to see it in some of the DLC content. There's a lot of people in the community who would love to have this feature, and from what I've heard, there's a lot of people in the studio as well that really, really want to have a turn-based mode in the game. So don't lose hope in the turn-based combat just because they said no. I think we're still probably going to be seeing a turn-based mode in the future. If not from the company themselves, then, there's always mods. But while we may or may not see turn-based, there is a ton of stuff actually being added in Wrath of the Righteous. Pretty much every aspect of the game is getting something added to it. As of right now, for classes, we're getting the Arcanist, Blood Rager, Shaman, Oracle, and Witch. And we also have a War Priest unlocked as a stretch goal that is looking like it's gonna be met. So who knows what's unlocked after that. We're getting a new race, the Dhampir. They're half undead, half human race. They get healed by negative energy, kind of like the Pathfinder's version of vampires. All of the classes from the original Pathfinder Kingmaker are all coming over to Wrath of the Righteous, even the DLC content ones like the Slayer, the Kineticist. And every class is going to have 5 archetypes as well. So that means even the original classes that are getting something new added to them. The ones that have been told to us so far are, one of the companions actually is going to be a Zen Archer Monk. So it's probably likely that that's going to be one of the new monk archetypes. Paladin is going to have Martyr and Warrior of the Holy Light. Wizard is going to have Exploited Wizard, which is kind of like an Arcanist, but you're a wizard instead of Arcanist. The Shaman is getting an archetype called Spirit Hunter, which from my understanding is something that Owlcat created themselves and is going to be something unique to the game. On top of all new classes, we're also getting 6 mythic paths, and these are a huge part of the Wrath of the Righteous campaign. They're going to affect not just your character progression, but also the story progression as well. and they're going to play a crucial role in that. But for the mythic paths, we're getting Angel, Lich, Aeon, Azada, Trickster, and Demon. We don't really have a lot of information about them yet, but there are some descriptions on the Kickstarter page if you want to go check them out. And the campaign is going to run from levels 1 to 20, plus 10 mythic levels, I believe. And they're focused on creating a shorter story than what was in Kingmaker. I think we can all agree, anyone who beat that game, it was a tad bit too long. But they want to make the story broader as well, so that your choices matter just that much more. And you'll really see like the effects of being like a evil lich is going to have a much bigger impact on the story. And it's going to feel drastically different than, like, say, if you played an Angel or an Azada. And while if you're going to have some mythic classes, you're going to need some mythic-looking spells, and as you probably saw in the background, it's looking like they're doing a pretty good job of that. In Pathfinder Kingmaker, there was just over 1,000 spells and abilities, and in Wrath of the Righteous, they're looking to add in 1,000 more, which sounds absolutely amazing. There's like an absolute absurd number of spells and abilities in the Pathfinder universe. And when it comes to the games, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait to see them. So far, they've also talked about 3 new prestige classes. The Assassin, the Hell Knight, and the Student of War. I know Hell Knight was a prestige class that a lot of people wanted for Kingmaker, so that should make a lot of people happy. And I think another huge welcomed change that they want to do with Wrath of the Righteous is improved AI. One of the ways they're doing this is having more ways for your enemies to engage you in combat. So they're not all just standing there around in a circle waiting for you to run up and start combat with them. Some of them are going to like climb up a cliff that you happen to be walking by, or you're going to be fighting a lot of demons, and demons love to use Dimension Door. So you absolutely are going to have some demons just teleporting on top of your party and surprising the hell out of you. Some enemies are also going to be using spells like Dispel Magic. In fact, in Wrath of the Righteous, a lot of these new abilities are going to be part of the difficulty system now, and the higher the difficulty you set the game at, the more abilities the enemies are going to have to use against you. You'll also be fighting more of them as well. And I think this clears up a huge problem a lot of people had with the difficulty of Kingmaker, where they were just like super stat-inflated monsters that you were fighting. I really like the owlcats taking the time to make the game like more strategically challenging and not just number crunching. This is a part of the game I really hope they put a lot of time into, and it turns out really well. Owlcat is going to be making the game a lot easier to understand for people that are unfamiliar with Pathfinder as well. They're going to have an optional feature that can be turned off for people who don't want to be bothered by it. But this feature is going to be like a new tutorial, but in the developer's own words, it's a learning curve system that will be available throughout the entire game and is on hand anytime they need it. I think that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to find very useful. Another returning feature from Kingmaker is going to be the kingdom management system. It's not going to be called kingdom management though, because you're not going to be managing a kingdom. It's going to be crusade management. It'll be a little bit different, of course, because you're the commander of a crusade instead of ruling a kingdom. So there's going to be more of a focus on things like upgrading your troops, sending them out to different locations, choosing which areas to fortify, choosing which areas to attack, things like this. They can also find like lost ancient artifacts on the battlefield, and you can take them back and you can turn them into, like powerful items. This is actually how the crafting in the game is going to be done. There isn't going to be crafting like in the normal Pathfinder game where you can just get a bunch of gold and then just buy whatever the hell you want. You're going to have to find these relics in the battlefield, and you take them back, and you're going to have a forge that you can make them into something that you can use, or modify them slightly to better fit your character, which sounds like a much better system than what was in Pathfinder Kingmaker. The game is going to be getting a nice visual upgrade as well, and not just in the spells and abilities department. They're remaking all of the old weapons and armor, and they're also adding in a ton of new ones as well. I think the art style is still going to remain pretty similar between the two games, but Wrath of the Righteous is just going to have a nice visual upgrade. And for the last little bit of information I'll leave you with, it's something that's speculative and not confirmed, but when One of the developers on the stream was asked about a Tenebrous Depths like DLC. They said that they didn't have any plans in Wrath of the Righteous for a dungeon like that, but he said that there was a Colosseum, and one of the DLCs may or may not have something to do with like some Colosseum arena combat in a similar style as how like the Tenebrous Depths DLC was, like kind of like a roguelike Colosseum. That sounds really, really cool, and I hope that actually becomes a thing, because I would play the hell out of that DLC. Like, I think over half my time spent in Kingmaker was playing through the Tenebrous Depths and just doing that over and over again. I had a ton of fun with that. It's like a theory crafter's dream. So yeah, I really hope that becomes a thing. So, be sure to check out the Kickstarter. You can get a copy of this game for right now for $28 if you want to back it early. I was a huge fan of Kingmaker, so that seems like an incredible deal to me. But that's going to be all for the video. I really hope you learned a thing or two. And if you'd like to continue your education, enrollment here is free. All you have to do is like and subscribe. And I wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and I hope to see you again soon.